Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dear Esther. So after playing Gone Home, I got quite a few people suggesting that I play Dear Esther, as it's a very similar type of game where there's not much action or anything like that. It's a very story-driven based type of game, very atmospheric and all that. So if this isn't your type of game to watch and enjoy, you might want to go check something else out, because this is going to be kind of a slow-paced game, and again, there's probably going to be lots of reading. But after playing Gone Home, I got so intrigued. And not only that, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, is also coming out. And these guys actually teamed up with the Amnesia crew, so we get to also check out the artistic style. So if you guys want to leave a like and show your support, throughout this episode and the entire series, I'd be super happy. But again, you guys don't have to. I just say that at the beginning of the series. Therefore, cutting out me saying it every episode like some people do. So without further ado, guys, let's get this started. I bring you guys Dear Esther.
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time, leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
Wow. I can already tell that they put a lot of detail into the artwork here. Like, this whole place just is super eerie and super run down and everything. But it's weird, because as soon as we got in here, my flashlight went on. I did not turn that on myself, so I'm not entirely sure what we do in this game. Like I said, a lot of people just highly suggested it because it's a very story-driven game, which I absolutely love. And if you guys actually have any other type of suggestions that kind of deal with very story-driven games rather than opposed to action or anything like that, I like action, but I don't know. There's something about games where they focus on story and just compelling storylines I just absolutely adore. And I don't know, Gone Home just definitely was one of my favorite games for that type of gameplay. And I can already tell that the art style in this is just insane, and it has me excited for Amnesia just because all the little details they put into it. It doesn't look super amazing, but it's already immersive. Just the sun setting and everything is just beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we can't see her feet. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I read that this was a mod initially for one of the Valve games. I feel bad for not knowing. What the heck is this? Well, it looks like some sort of fishing mechanism for crabbing. That's the one. Crabbing. There we go. Crab traps. I assume what those are. I honestly wouldn't know. I've never went crabbing or anything like that. Oh, man. Okay, so kind of looks like...
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
So we got some figures drawn in the sand here. Again, we really have no idea who we are as of yet. We're just kind of learning some stuff as we walk along this little path here. But I'm not entirely sure if we should be continuing walking along the shore here, because there's been multiple ones.
I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still travel. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
It almost looks like a car crash down here. Like, it almost looks like it got scraped up here, but I'm not... That looks too fresh. But hey, who knows? Okay, so it looks like our path along the shore here is cut short. We're not able to continue, so I guess from here on out we're gonna have to start heading up and check it out what's up here. But I'm really enjoying the music too. It's a very calm, relaxing, soothing tune. And I didn't mean for that to sound like really cheesy or anything like that, but that's just how I perceive it, and it's just enjoyable. I unfortunately didn't purchase this with the soundtrack, although I feel like I should have at this point, but man, I feel very lost, and I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to feel, considering that they just put you on a freaking dock in the middle of I have no idea where, so there's lots of seaweed. But yeah, like, just all the small stuff, man, like the rocks and everything, they just look so real. Okay, and again, I'm not entirely sure if the sun is coming up or setting, but it's a very, like, as eerie as this place is, it's very beautiful at the same time. Like, I would absolutely love to come to a place like this in real life and just take a walk by. I guess we're doing it virtually, but something tells me that it would not be the same. Okay, so we can either continue. Yeah, okay, so we're not going to continue because it kind of looks like it ends. Well, can we? I don't know. I'm afraid of, like, I don't know if you can take damage in this game or anything like that, but I see there's a lighthouse over there. But, oh wait, no, that's where we initially came from, so we don't really want to go back quite yet. Okay, so you also can't sprint in the game. I just tested that feature out.
Donnelly's book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
So how do we know he's dying? And what kind of person steals from a library? Can't you just, like, literally rent them out for free?
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Whoa, so are we infected with something? What the heck was that? It almost like sounded like static. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was like just a split second there. But where are we?
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradiction?
Okay, so I just noticed something straight ahead. If you guys take a look right there, there's a ship that just looks like it crashed. Well, not just crashed, but like it just crashed. If that makes any sense. I'm not trying to sound like deep or anything like that. It's just like,
met Paul.
What the heck is that over there?
I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a static sound going on.
I threw my arms wide and the cliff opened out before me, making this rough home. I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead.
What the heck?
It was cold at night, and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether. Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
So I'm thinking that we were on that ship, maybe? And, because, like, this does not look normal. Like, what the heck is this? I don't even know what that is. It's definitely something that deals with science. And that kind of looks like, almost like a pirate or something. I have no idea, but, like, this just does not look normal. I don't think there's anything like that that just glows. It's creepy. Maybe we're like on an island with aliens or something ridiculous like that. But it doesn't look like it leads anywhere. It just kind of does a little loop around. Now, are we able to cross over here? What? Okay. Scared the crap out of me. Thought I died for a second. I was like, what is going on? Okay, so we are able to swim in this like little bed of water here. Are we able to go check out the ship though? Oh man. What the heck are those? Okay, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out! I'm freaking out! I'm freaking out! Okay, so we cannot swim. Okay. That's good to know. Let's see if we can walk up here then. That was creepy. Like, it looked like some sort of like flashbacks or something there. So it does look like we can walk across this little creek here. Or not creek, but like upstream of this little creek. Oh, I was gonna say maybe not, but we got a little stuck there, but we're able to bypass it. Man, like now, like just the way he was talking, like how I'm infected is not just of the flesh.
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl, and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Just like the very first part where his like teeth curled up and his finger, like, I don't know. One of the worst things that I can ever imagine is getting my fingernails pulled off. So even like imagining, I've had a nail fall off and it's horrible. It takes forever to grow back and your finger is like all sensitive and everything like that. So it's like pulling of the teeth. Like, I don't know if you guys ever had dreams like where someone like pulls your teeth out like that. It's the same with nails, like just that type of stuff. Oh, just makes me like just cringing, like not vicarious, but just like in just pain. Like just the thought of it just is enough to like. Oh, okay, let's stop talking about pulling of the teeth and nails because that's disgusting. So again, I'm not entirely. It almost seems like it's like the sun is setting, but I'm not entirely sure.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Wow. Like, what is this place? Like, to see more than one ship just like crash into like the land, like that's a total of 4 if you count the one we passed in, I guess, the previous level there. Like, what is going on? Like, there's lighthouses and everything, so this doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's definitely a cargo ship, too. You know what? We should probably go check that out, I think. I'm just walking down a cliff. No big deal. No big deal. Because it looks like we could just go up over there, and over here kind of looks like it just cuts off over in the little U over there. I don't even know what that's called. Like a little bend? And now it looks like we're walking away from that. Like, I honestly thought I thought we were walking to it at first, but not anymore. Little car seat? Yeah, what is this? Payload. It's weird because, like, you see all the empty cargoes, but you don't actually see, like, what they're shipping or anything like that, so it almost looks like it's been looted. I honestly have no idea right now. The heck is that?
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
What? Unless they mean like hermit crabs, but or generic bee, who knows? Like, just tons of generic bees coming into the bottom of our boat because there's a hole in it. But I have no idea what all these drawings mean, because that's the second drawing in the sand that we've seen. And then I'm not counting the ones that we saw carved because those aren't in the sand, but there's just all these drawings, and like, what the heck do they mean? Could we actually... Oh. Okay, when you actually press left mouse button, it zooms in just fair, like a little bit, not much. And it doesn't even look like we could actually go on board of the ship. Not that I'd want to, because it doesn't even look very stable. And if we cut ourselves, ooh, get tetanus. That would be bad. But yeah, like, what the heck is this? Is there anything in here? No, just cardboard boxes. God knows what. Might be food. Why aren't we checking? Then again, I don't even know if I'm starving or anything like that. Wow. Man. This is kind of like... It's not eerie, but it's unsettling just to see all this destruction. Especially seeing as we have no idea what the cause is. Okay, so it looks like...
An imagined answer phone message. The tires are flat, the wheel spins loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
Yeah, see, I have no idea why these would crash, because, again, there's like a little buoy over there to warn people. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure if we have to continue on up or if we're supposed to actually be going over there. I don't mind it, because I like when you're not, like, given a very linear path like that, so... To actually have to find your own path and everything, I always enjoy these type of games, so... But that's just me. I know a lot of people are... Well, not a lot, but there might be some individuals who are opposed to the idea. And I think that is where we have to go, because we just actually walked along this path, and we have not found anything. So we're just going to take a walk down this little cliff. No big deal. We didn't even break our legs or anything. Legit. Look how steep that is. For a person who can't run, we sure cut down that hill friggin' fast. Okay, so maybe we actually are on our way up there. It just seems kind of weird that we came out over there and we have to do pretty much a U and go back to where we came from. Unless, of course, it takes us to a completely different path that we haven't even seen yet. And the heck is that?
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape. and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
See that I'm thinking. Oh my god, I don't even know what that means. Because we saw that car, so I'm wondering if...
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
Oh, that's really eerie. Like, who knows? It may even be like some sort of dreamland or something, because I don't know. And we're just it's kind of a nightmare, but I don't know. Because if this deals with a drunk driver, man, I'm gonna be so. I don't want another sad story. I want a really happy story. Well, granted, Gone Home was like a super sad but happy story.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Oh man, that music. See, is this our home? Oh man, I just have all these questions that I feel ridiculous that I'm like asking them out loud. But then again, that's kind of like the point of a Let's Play, right? Is to interact with you, and you guys might be even asking the same questions.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Dying of a disease. Man, it's a good thing we live in 2013 where we don't, unless you're kind of silly and don't take precautions, you may die from that type of stuff, but it's not a lot. Oh, look, another carving. What is that? I've never seen a color like that. It's weird. Whoa.
3 cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
Is that... No, that's not where we're going. That doesn't even look like a cave. It just looks like a... Well, it's kind of a cave, but not the cave that I'm thinking of. Whoa. That's a friggin' far fall down. Can we fall off? Okay, we probably could. I don't want to test it anymore. So let's just say, yeah, we can fall. I'm just digging this. I love this. Is that like... It looks like...
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed. The result of some birth defect, or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him. Unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop. A false and calcified seabird.
So I'm wondering if the skeleton of that ship is the metaphor for that little story we heard there. That's the very, very basics of a boat right there. I like this because you're not able to sprint. You're given like so much more opportunity to take like a look around and just absorb the atmosphere, basically. Like, Like, look at this. This is insane.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring.
Thing I'm wondering, because I'm not entirely sure if this takes place in present time or not. Again, we're kind of just thrown into this, so I don't know if, like, these are stories we heard or knew or what.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the Bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Ugh. Just for your skin to rot away like that? Ugh. Whoa! Now, do we go down or what? I'm scared.